All right.
I sidetracked him.
Oh. Is it my turn?
Hey, is this on? I think it's on now.
Yeah. Julie, did you get a mic check?
Uh-oh.
She sounds muted.
This 7 o'clock it hits us really quick sometimes.
It does. It sneaks up right on us.
I don't know.
But
Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you're in there.
All right.
All right, good evening and welcome to the North Georgia Amateur Radio Regional Net. Kilo Mike 4 Golf Alpha presents the newest, most interesting net in amateur radio. Tonight we're live from Studio Vanguard. We're linked in with the following repeaters.
Tonight we're linked in with Bisky at 444.625, Buckhead at 442.025, Currahee Mountain 444.225, Fort Mountain 444.850, and Hobbit at 444.350.
And this net takes place every other Thursday evening at 7 p.m. I would like to thank all of you who have joined in our mission to promote and exercise the arts and sciences and enjoyment of amateur radio. We further seek to cultivate and develop the next generation of amateur radios, both young and old.
Your net control tonight is KN4HYN. My name is Justin.
I am KN4HYM. My name is Julie.
And I am N4TVZ. My name is Tony.
And I am KR4HBU Rogers. So, go ahead.
Yeah, no, on this directed net, we will discuss this week's topic and other topics of interest. We will not discuss politics, religion, or any subject that becomes divisive or disruptive. Our goal is to bring people together to find common interests in productive and informative conversations. I think tonight will be a productive and informative conversation.
Every night is productive and informative, isn't it?
I generally think so, yeah.
That's what we strive for, right?
All conversations should be enjoyed as though our family members are in the room. Guest check-ins are welcome from anyone with a valid FCC amateur call sign. And if you're checking in on YouTube, and you don't have a call sign, if you just have a GMRS call, just give us your name and where you're generally at.
Right.
And we'll get you entered in the log. You won't be on the air.
Right.
So because you're not on the air, you don't really have to have a call sign.
Right.
Right?
Exactly.
I think that works. So we'll endeavor to get to everybody from the YouTube live stream entered in the log tonight.
Yeah, so tonight's topic, we're going to talk about PL tones, CTCSS, DCS, and how they work on our networks. Fun stuff.
How do they work on our network?
Well, you have to put it in and make sure you have the right PL tone to open that repeater.
Let's break. All right, well, before we get to all of that, we do have Julie in studio tonight.
Yay!
And
Welcome back.
I think we're going to have one of those instances. Somebody must have sent the email, right?
Somebody sent an email?
Julie,
email?
did you get an email?
No.
No?
No?
What email?
Oh. Well,
She didn't listen last week, did she?
I told everybody.
Oh.
I told everybody
Oops.
last week to send you an email and you'd come back.
Oh, I did
Have
get
you
an
checked?
email.
Have you checked your email?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Dana.
Dana.
Thank you,
Ah, well, good job,
My
Dana.
one fan.
You're one fan. Good job, Dana. It worked. Let's see if we
did.
get somebody else to send an email this
There we
week.
go. That's our goal. One email a week.
That's right. That's right. We just need one fan. Anyone will do.
Yes.
What you got for us this week?
Are you ready for me?
Yeah.
Are we doing tips or are you doing announcements?
Do you want to do announcements?
You
Nothing like
know
what
that
we
tone,
have.
don't you? You sure you don't want to do
I
announcements?
will do the announcements. However, I think everyone would rather hear somebody else do the announcements
Than me.
than either of us.
Yeah.
So, if
gotta-
you're wanting me to read the announcements from my teleprompter, it is like slow.
Well, we do that for Jim, so we might have to speed it up for Julie. Sorry, Jim.
Hold on. Bear with us, guys.
Why don't you go ahead with the tips first, and then we'll come back to announcements here in a little bit.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see what we got here. All right. So, as Justin was saying, this week we're going to talk about PL tones. So, PL, CTCSS, and DCS tones. Something a lot of new users struggle with is understanding how the tones work. PL tones is a generic phrase that encompasses CTCSS, DCS, and other tone squelch systems. When you hear people mention PL tones, they could be talking about any of these tone squelch protocols. They have different names and they may work in slightly different ways, but they all serve to filter out unwanted traffic from your radio. The joke is that PL stands for private line, but of course there is no privacy in two-way radio. By including a sub-audible tone with your transmission, you can tell another radio to open its receive audio. Let me break. Both radios need to have the same tone programmed, and when they do, you'll hear only the radio traffic that includes that sub-audible tone. Repeaters work the same way. The repeater will ignore everything it hears on its tuned frequency until it hears that sub-audible PL tone. When it hears that PL tone, it will engage its transmitter and repeat what it hears. When it transmits its received message, it typically includes the same sub-audible tone. Users with the correct tones programmed will hear only messages that include the programmed sub-audible tone, and they will access the repeater when they transmit with a sub-audible PL tone. Sub-audible tones are basically tones that we don't hear, which makes them sub-audible. The radio receiver uses the tone, then filters it out before playing it on the speaker so we don't hear the underlying tone. DCS tones are digital in nature and would sound unpleasant if we could hear it. We prefer CTCSS tones, which stands for Continuous Tone Coded Squelch System. But in some cases, when we experience frequent interference from non-members, we found that interference is often eliminated with DCS tones. DCS stands for Digital Coded Squelch. Rather than try other CTCSS tones and find we still might get interference again, we prefer to go straight to DCS tones to minimize the trouble the membership has in reprogramming radios. If we have to change a tone, we'd like to change it only once. The magic of PL tones is allowing multiple repeaters to coexist on the limitations of 8 repeater pairs. GMRS radio is indeed limited to only 8 repeater pairs or channels. We can have multiple repeaters sharing channels by carefully planning. We try to keep repeaters on the same frequency as far away from one another as possible, and then We make sure they use different tones so a very distant repeater doesn't try to open when you actually mean to hit one closer by. By doing this, we can avoid unintentional activations on distant repeaters and allow machines to work cooperatively in a limited repeater spectrum. Let me break. In similar fashion, many outside repeaters also successfully share repeater frequencies with NGGMRS by simply ensuring that we use a set of tones different from those used by North Georgia GMRS. This is how the GMRS spectrum was designed to work with only 8 repeater pairs. In some instances, one might hear foreign traffic come in at the beginning or end of someone's call, but it should be infrequent and short-lived. You might hear another voice in front of or after you hear our members on our repeater. This is because once a repeater tone squelch gets opened by a member, the repeater will repeat everything it hears on its received frequency, even if the other signal has the wrong tone for our repeater. But as we have experience, this does happen, but it's pretty rare. What is the fix? Easy. Wait a few minutes, and the traffic on the foreign repeater will probably be over. Or just power through, especially if you're nearly finished with your conversation. Either way, we can share our limited frequencies with other repeaters successfully, and we do it every day. There's a lot to unpack here, so if you have any questions, tonight's net will be a great place to ask. By understanding how the tones work, it might help us understand how the programming works in our radios. These are just a few of the preferred practices of North Georgia GMRS members, and these procedures are how we become the best operators on the nation's largest, most advanced linked repeater network. And remember, if you have any questions or suggestions for new user tips and operating procedures, send me a note at julie@nggmrs.org.
All right. Good stuff. Although that was primarily geared toward GMRS radio, the way that tones work in amateur radio is exactly the same. The biggest difference being that in amateur radio, our repeaters are coordinated to minimize interference from one repeater to another. So, although it can still happen under certain atmospheric conditions, it's far less likely to happen in amateur radio than it does in GMRS radio. So that's why the tips were kind of focused more toward the GMRS side of things, because it's a larger issue and it's a bigger concern, I think, in GMRS, because there's a lot of people that think, well, North Georgia GMRS is sitting on all the frequencies. Let's break. And since NGGMRS has all the frequencies, no one else can put up a repeater. And that's just simply not true.
No.
And there are multiple examples of repeaters that coexist within our network, sharing frequencies with us. And it's not that it's 100% interference free, but what is disruptive interference? I mean, it's not intentional. So when you experience a little bit of interference, it doesn't necessarily eliminate your ability to have a conversation. So it's just inconvenient and oftentimes just for a brief period of time. So we just power through. And, if it becomes something pervasive or persistent, then send us an email.
Right.
Send an email to support@NGGMRS and let us know what your concerns are. And, we can have conversations about things that we can do to remedy the situation, or things that we can help you do to remedy any interference concerns that you have. But that's, in a nutshell, that's why we chose that episode for tonight. It was a good one. It's mostly recycled from episodes we've had in the past, but we did update a little bit of the information in there. And so thanks for the tips.
Absolutely.
It's all radio.
Yeah, it is. It is. There's a lot that carries over. And, we've often talked about, GMRS radio being a gateway into amateur radio. So there's a lot of folks that are going to be tuning in on YouTube that are GMRS audience members.
Right.
And everything that we're talking about in terms of PL tones carries over to amateur radio. It's all the same stuff. So here we are.
Here we are.
All right. Do you remember how to speed this up? Scroll speed
I did a
on
little
your mouse
bit.
right there.
Yeah, you had it at 20%.
Ah, well, maybe you can speed that up a little bit and try the announcements.
All right. Announcements.
Yay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's break.
Okay.
So, for announcements, I show tune in tomorrow night for the North Georgia GMRS Network's Friday night at 9 Simplex Challenge on the Monument Repeater. Tune in to learn about emergency comms and the use of simplex frequencies. Also, beginning at 7:15, the North Georgia Amateur Radio Association's Friday night at 9 2-meter simplex challenge on the N4K HQ repeater.
Well, time out. Did we find somebody to fill in for Jim?
Oh, that's right.
I saw the text, not that I'm aware of.
Oh.
So
We may or may not have the amateur simplex challenge tomorrow night.
Okay.
So, but if we do have it, someone will step in and lead that. And if you're interested in doing that, please let me know,
Yeah.
so that we can organize that, and I can get you some script information to cover that. So
So I guess basically tune in at 7:15 and see if you
fill
hear
your call
anything
sign out
there.
and ask for if we're having a net, and if somebody comes back to you, then we are. It happens.
yeah,
You know,
All right.
yeah.
get caught out of town, family things.
Right. All right. We ready?
Yeah, keep
Yes.
going.
Okay. And don't miss Saturday night sessions, a ham radio talk group with your host Dana. Is that going on?
Dana, yeah,
Dana.
Dana's not out of
Okay,
town.
cool.
He's-
So your host is Dana as he talks about describe your shack. What type of RF suits you best? UHF, VHF, HF, or CW? So tune in this Saturday evening at 7 p.m. on any NGARA network repeater. We also have the Peachtree Road Race, July 4th. Relies on a huge number of volunteers, including dozens of ham radio operators, to keep the event running smoothly and safely. We are in the early stages of sign up and planning for the 2026 Northside Hospital Peachtree Road Race, the world's largest 10K road race. Yes, there is a new title sponsor. Interesting.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that.
Right.
So, if you're interested in volunteering, shifts range between 0400 and 1100 on Saturday, July 4th.
I don't think that means you have to work from 4 in the morning until 11.
Let's pray. So you can just sign up for whenever you are available and
yeah.
plug
Yeah.
in.
I think they're looking for people between 4 and 11 p.m.
Gotcha. Positions include water stops, pace cars, shadows, start and finish line assignments, and call takers in the Multi-Agency Coordination Center. Please sign up as early as possible so we know how many volunteers we'll have, which will dictate what services we can provide the medical branch during the event. To sign up, I was just going to ask, how do you sign up? AtlantaTrackClub.com. Again, if you're interested in volunteering, you're going to go to AtlantaTrackClub.com.
And when you're on that web page, and Tony's got it up on the screen right now,
Yeah.
you can see right there at the top in the center of the page it says volunteer. You'll click there, follow the prompts, and there is a place to enter a password if you are a radio operator.
Well, on the first page, on the very front page, on the right-hand side, under additional information, there's a volunteer tab. That's where I'm at now.
Okay,
So on that, even on the first page, so if you just go to the volunteer tab, and
excellent.
that will take you there.
And then when you're ready for the what's the password?
It's PRR26 ham, HAM.
And so that will get you into the amateur radio volunteer fields that will let you indicate that you can contribute. So even if you're a GMRS user, they are taking volunteers for GMRS as well as amateur radio.
So we can use call takers in the MACC to answer phones and forward requests to the medical branch. If you are signing up for the call taker position, use the FCC call sign call taker. Otherwise, enter any amateur or GMRS license you may have. Do you want to expound upon that?
No, I think that's good. So yeah, keep right on trucking.
All right, so not sure of what's involved? Check out this great video produced by hamradioprep.com about the 2024, what?
It was
2024,
the
that
road
was
race.
that was the road race.
a past. Yeah, they did a video on a past road race, and it's a neat little video. So definitely check that out. Search for Ham Radio Prep. Ham Radio Prep are the guys that do the
2024.
The study guides.
The study test, yeah.
So you can get their book. You can do their online study guide. Who's got the key? Let's break.
Let's break.
Somebody's got the key.
I don't have
I
the key.
do.
Ah.
I
do not have the key. She holds the key.
Okay, so we
to the
gotta
house,
we
the
gotta get
car.
off the key for a couple of seconds. That was too short.
Oh, okay. Let's try this again.
Who's got the key?
I got it. Is
That was still
better?
pretty short.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we get complained on all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
do it a third time's a charm.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Here we go.
1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000.
We're
That should
ready?
be long enough.
All right.
All
Here
right.
we go. Are you sure?
Well, we'll know in a moment because I'll get a text from
Okay.
Bobby. So as long as we don't get the
How's
Bobby
that?
text, then we're
Bobby
good.
text.
Perfect.
Okay. Next.
All right. Here is the part about food and gatherings.
All right.
The good stuff we've been waiting for.
Yes.
I've got some upcoming gatherings to tell you about this week that are right around the corner. Pay attention, grab a pencil, and put these on your calendar if you're interested. These meetups are a great way to meet fellow members in and around your area. We have the Northeast Crew Lunch, just celebrated their 3rd year, that's hard to believe,
Yeah.
of lunch at Rooster's Cafe. I can't believe that. 3
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
A big thank you to all the folks who have attended through these past 3 years. It's been great meeting so many people with common interest in radio that we all share. Our next gathering for April will be on Wednesday, April 29th. We are always happy to see new faces on the last Wednesday of each month. Find us at Rooster's Cafe in Dahlonega for great conversations and laughs. For info, contact Atlanta 403 Bobby, KQ4MJL, or Gainesville 44 Joe, KQ4MJO. The Kennesaw Gathering will have our next Meet in Geek on Tuesday, May 12th at noon at Old Town Grill on Cobb Parkway, around the corner from McCollum Airport in Kennesaw at noon. Bring your radio or Meshtastic programming issues to discuss and resolve. They'll have a mobile test bench available after lunch and can test and program the most popular radios or help you set up a Meshtastic node. Please reach out to Ed Atlanta 557 beforehand on the air or via email at wrqg806@gmail.com if you're planning to attend. So they hold enough seats and so they can try to have the right programming cables and software available for you. The Peachtree Corners Brunch Bunch meets at JR's Log House Restaurant, which is located on 6601 Peachtree Industrial Boulevard at Peachtree Corners Circle on top of a hill next to a bridge. Put a spring in your step and join us the third Saturday of each month, noonish until 2:30, 3 o'clock. Let me break. 1,000, 1,000.
We need a light for how long we need to stay off the light.
Right.
That'll be the next project.
Radio enthusiasts, bring your equipment and concerns for assistance there. And now the big one. Listen up. I'm only going to say this several times. North Georgia GMRS is pleased to announce our next social event, the 5th annual cookout hosted by the Smith family. Trey, Gainesville 287, Lynn, Gainesville 286, and CV, Gainesville 285. When is it? It's Saturday, May 9th. It will be here before you know it. We plan to eat at 12 noon. The site will be open for parking at 11 a.m. It is going to be held once again at the infamous flagship repeater site high atop Sassafras Mountain in Pickens County, Georgia. The address there is 2996 Monument Road, Jasper, Georgia, 30143. Something that's important to note is due to parking constraints, we find it necessary to limit attendance this year to 150 people. Therefore, timely RSVPs are requested no later than Monday, May 4th. Please don't show up if you haven't made a reservation. This could be a problem. So hurry up. There's still some spots left, but when the 150 person limit is reached, we will of course give timely notice. Also, we are putting a special touch on the event with live music presented by For His Name's Sake, a gospel trio comprised of Lisa and Kenny McGill, and North Georgia GMRS member Barry Suggs, Chattanooga 61. This could be exciting. You don't want to miss out. Since this year's event will be an outdoor location and is dependent upon weather, the event could possibly be canceled with no contingency dates. Keep your eyes on the email in the days leading up to May 9th, and as we will be keeping our eyes on the weather leading up to that date. The menu is simple: hamburgers, hot dogs, chips, and all the fixins, drinks, and a dessert. There's no charge to attend. We want your attendance, not your money. We do ask that everyone brings chairs and easy up tents for your party. Let me break. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, and go. The sun can be intense. Sunscreen and bug spray might be a good idea as well. This will be a great opportunity for the family to take a ride into the North Georgia mountains, experience some beautiful views, meet people you have talked to on the radio, and in general, just meet some great people. These views from atop Sassafras Mountain, where Flagship is located, are spectacular. I know, I've been there a number of times. And for radio enthusiasts in the family, you will see the intimate workings of a true commercial-grade repeater site, the one and only flagship. We encourage you to bring friends who might at some point be interested in radio. This is always encouraged. We do not require membership in the North Georgia GMRS to attend this annual event. Also, on your way to the event, you may want to tune your radios to the Monument repeater, where we will be monitoring and transmitting any critical updates and pertinent information related to the event. Monument repeater info you will receive on 462.550 with tone 141.3. Monument receives on 467.550 with tone 141.3. Please RSVP to NGARA events, EVENTS @gmail.com. We need the number in your party and their names for name tag purposes. Please mark the date on your calendar, and we hope to see y'all there. And that's it. If you have any questions, comments, or news to share, please send an email to Justin at ngGMRS.org.
And if you'd rather have Julie do the announcements than Justin, please send an email to Julie.
I would rather have Julie do the announcement than Justin. Does my vote count?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, send her an email, will
I'll
you?
send her an email.
Yeah, right. I might have 2 fans.
You've got more fans than that. They just haven't emailed.
Definitely. Oh, Rogers, you had a birthday last week.
Yay!
Yeah.
Lots of celebrations. I saw you had a cake from the Saturday luncheon, and you had one from us. And
Thank you guys as well. For
oh
that.
yeah, looked like great
Any
times.
reason to have cake is a good reason.
Yes.
Yeah, little Star Wars celebration with your son with some great photos.
Yeah, he's upgraded to an FRS radio now. So from Paw Patrol.
Fantastic.
Hang
It's
on.
break.
Hang on. I got
All right.
something.
Break?
Somebody's got the key down.
I
Okay.
do. I got the key.
Who's got the key? There we go.
1 doesn't.
Oh,
2 oh my goodness.
Oh yeah.
Oh, wait till you see these
That's
pictures.
fantastic.
Yes.
Well, Rogers, you know that Darth Vader has a younger brother
Oh yeah.
in federal prison.
Oh.
Yeah, Taxi.
Okay.
Taxi Vader.
That's
Yeah.
Don't want to be that guy.
That was the joke you wanted
told you it was
the
bad.
picture for?
Darth
Okay.
Vader.
It's just
Wow.
dying to
Taxi
tell
Vader.
that
I got
joke.
it.
I don't even think that makes a dad joke, does it?
Yeah.
Whew, Taxi
yeah.
Vader.
All
Look
right.
at that
All right.
picture.
Well, yeah, got a
That
chance to
is
celebrate.
That is good.
adorable.
Yeah, I got a chance to celebrate, and he loves getting on the radio, and
Oh.
he loves hearing me talk, and he asked about my radio friends. So
Really?
yeah, he's
Well, fantastic.
into it.
We'd love to hear him on the air sometime.
Yes.
So,
we
uh,
gotta get him
yeah.
on.
That would be
Definitely,
a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Is he coming to the picnic with your grandma?
he just may.
Yeah,
He
that'd
just
be
may.
fantastic. So
That would
we don't
Yeah.
know. Rogers has another birthday to celebrate on May 9th. So
My mom's birthday is on May 9th,
yes.
okay.
and Noah's birthday, my son, his birthday is on May 12th.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Fantastic.
That's a busy month.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
I
tell him
think
you're
that-
taking him to a birthday party and just
right.
you
Just,
know, it just has hot dogs.
Yeah.
yeah, the more
And-
parties,
and
the
you know
merrier.
with it.
That pound cake.
Hey.
Oh,
Oof.
that's some good birthday cake stuff
Yes.
right
Oh
there.
yeah, oh
The
yeah.
pound cake
I love a good pound cake.
Yeah. So
Yeah, but does Noah?
He does.
Oh,
He does.
okay.
He does.
Okay.
yeah, what kid wouldn't?
Yeah. Exactly.
All right. Well, do you think we should take some check-ins? We do have, and I got a message from CV earlier today. He can't monitor tonight because he's engaged with some family activities, but he wanted me to make mention that the picnic is coming up.
Right.
They'd like all of the RSVPs to be in by May 4.
Yeah.
So hurry up with that. There is some room left. So
Right.
surprisingly, I kind of figured we'd be sold out by now, so to speak. But there is some room left. So if you're interested in attending the picnic, go ahead and make that RSVP. And you don't have to be a member of NGGMRS or NGARA.
Right.
We just love to visit with you. Be a chance to come and see the our premier repeater site. Let me break.
Are you gonna?
Sorry about that.
Are you hitting the button?
Yeah, I'm on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. See the red light up there?
So,
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So
we just let him control the button when we're
definitely,
normally here.
definitely make an effort to get your RSVP in
He's a good.
sooner rather than later. And of course, once we do hit that 150 mark, we will we'll let you know.
So you got less than 2 weeks, right?
less than 2 weeks,
well, 2
and
weeks
just
from
over
today.
a week to get your RSVP in.
Right. Well, no. Next week would be the 30th,
Yeah,
and then the following Thursday would be the 4th. No, I'm looking the wrong way. You're right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you're right.
Yeah.
Looking the wrong calendar.
And what did you say?
And don't say it.
So you got a week.
Don't say it.
What,
I
what-
was
before
wrong,
that?
Justin.
No. The other part. What did you say?
You're right,
He is
Justin.
not
See,
right.
around-
He
no.
will
around
never
here-
be right.
Around here, we often say you may be correct,
But you ain't right.
but you ain't right.
You ain't right. Why not? Right?
Why not? There you go. That's Tony backwards.
Yes.
Why not?
No,
Yes. Why not?
You've missed a few episodes.
I have.
Yeah.
I've been out of the loop.
You
Yeah.
have. We like having you back in. That's kind of a buffer.
All right, I think so. This is the part. Let's go ahead and turn the air conditioning off so we can hear. And we're going to
Supposed to hear?
we're going to try to take some check-ins. Slow down for us because we have a hard time adjusting from GMRS mode to amateur radio mode. But if you would please, we'll stand by for any check-ins from any repeater on the North Georgia Amateur Radio Association Network.
All right. My escape.
Yeah.
See you guys.
This is KQ4MKS, Kilo, Quebec 4, Mike Kilo, Sierra, Duluth, Georgia. Ernest, checking in, checking out. This is,
Look at you, Dana.
this is November 0, Delta Lima Mike, N0 DLM Dana from high atop Mount Olympus, and hey, I'm here.
This is Kilo 0 Alpha Mike Tango. That is Kilo 0 Alpha Mike Tango. Colt, in the carpet capital world, Dalton, Georgia. This is Kilo Romeo 4 Echo Kilo Hotel KR4 EKH Dan and Marietta checking in, and I will try to be here the whole time, but I may have to go out, but I will try to monitor.
This is KR4GWB Rhino, Cheshire Bridge Road,
I haven't
checking
heard
in.
Rhino in a while.
Yeah, we simplex the other day.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, I normally hear him. We used to hear him quite a bit on GMRS, but I haven't heard him lately.
Took a break.
Assume
He's
that's
back.
Ed down there. Yeah. Ed, you getting the YouTube side, I guess.
All right. Right off the bat, we messed up the very first call sign.
We did.
Yeah, because I was typing in a field that
Oh.
maybe didn't exist. I'm not sure. And by the time I came back around to it, I couldn't remember all the characters. But I've got KQ4. I'm sure that part's right.
We know who it is.
And I think there was an M and an S in there. And the voice definitely belonged to Ernest.
Yes.
So, Ernest, we've got you in here with the incorrect call sign. When we come around to you, you can give us a correct call sign then. Also, we heard Dan, Kilo Romeo 4 Echo Kilo Hotel. Dan is possibly short time. Going to try to monitor. We'll see. I'll be calling out for you, Dan. If you're busy in the car or whatever, and you don't come back to us, so we'll figure it out. It'll be just fine. Next, we've got Colt 45 Kilo Oscar Kilo Zero.
Kilo Zero.
Kilo Zero Alpha Mike Tango. In the area rug capital of the world. What area would that be in?
Area rug? The area rug. Well, it could be the living room, some bedroom. I don't know where you putting it.
Dalton area?
Dalton
area, I think. And we've heard once again from Rhino. It's great to hear you again on the air. Kilo Romeo 4 Golf Whiskey Bravo. Glad to have you with us tonight. And we've got some YouTube check-ins here from Kilo Quebec 4 Papa Foxtrot Bravo. That would be Mark in Adairsville. And Kilo 4 Kilo Oscar Papa. That would also be Mark in Rome. Is Mark in Rome?
No, Mark's probably not in Rome.
I think he's probably in Columbus or something.
I think he's in Noonan.
Something like that. Somewhere in
Noonan,
a general
somewhere.
part of the world. Glad to have you along tonight, Mark. And that's what we have at the moment. Ed is busy. We do have two more here. So we have the official Master Graham GM is a YouTube check-in.
Gotta love those YouTube names.
And yeah. And we also have Mr. Scott Ensley. So the official Master GM is looking for suggestions for a great base antenna.
Oh, is he the one looking for the
So
antenna?
anybody on YouTube that has would like to make a comment on what you use for base antenna, I'm not sure if the context is for GMRS or amateur, but I'll tell you, there's a Diamond, what is that? The Diamond 50, Diamond 500.
I have the comments.
It's a 2 meter, it's a 2 meter antenna, and man, it is great. I have one, but it's broken. It's a great antenna. I was able to hit the Coweta County repeater from here on that Diamond 500, about 25 feet in the air.
What?
So it's a great.
I have a comment that's CX333, that tri-band.
Yeah.
So I like it. For the amateur side. I don't know if he's looking for GMRS. The GMRS guys, a lot of them use that 712, that Comet 712.
Uh-huh.
Is GMRS only, though. That's
Well,
what they're looking for.
the 712 comes in. Let's break. The 712 comes in a couple of different suffixes. There's the CFR. I don't remember what the suffixes are, but that determines what band the antenna is cut for. So the 712 it's like 11 dB of gain. It's a high gain antenna, and it really performs well.
Comet's got the 712E's FC is 460 to 470.
Okay. And then I think there are a couple of different versions of the 712 that may be more of a 440 amateur antenna.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that antenna goes into 2 meter or anything. I think they have completely different models.
I have one of the GP9s as well. I'm not sure if it's the NC or the NCA. I don't remember which one it is, but both of them do great.
So I don't see the Diamond 500 anymore. But there is a Diamond X6000, and it's $200 at Gigaparts. So it's a 6.5 dB gain antenna. It would be a nice antenna for 2 meter base station applications. I would definitely consider something like that. But the Diamond, I think it was a 500. It's been a minute since I've had that antenna in service, but it was a really impressive, and I think that was like a 9 dB gain antenna. Really impressive performance and great. I could hear everything.
Yeah.
I could hear so far away with that. I could hear places I could never talk to, but great antenna. And I think that's what you want. You want to be able to hear.
Yeah.
You want to be able to hear stuff.
You want to get out, but you want it. A lot of people don't realize you want to hear better than you get out.
Yeah. The alternative is really not that good of a situation because you're just cluttering up the airways, and when you're transmitting farther than you can receive, you're making noise and stuff that you may not have an awareness that there could
Right.
be, you could be stepping on traffic.
Right.
But you didn't hear that because it didn't come into your radio. So there's a balance that you'd like to achieve. But yeah, so Scott, if you can, I see Scott was the one looking for the antenna. Just hang out in the chat. Maybe we'll get some good
Oh,
suggestions.
there's already Ed Fong, Comet G6. There's several in there already.
Lots of good choices. Yeah. So and it all boils down to, what are you trying to achieve? Are you looking for a high gain antenna? Maybe you don't want the high gain because you have good proximity to the repeater, and that high gain may make your receive a little distorted because it's too sensitive. So this just depends on your circumstance. And sometimes if you're just trying to get to a single distant repeater, maybe you want a Yagi, a directional antenna of sorts. Let's break.
Right, if you're trying to get to a repeater or something like that, and you're just barely out of the range, the
Yeah.
Yagi would do you well.
In some cases. So there's a couple different manufacturers that make Yagi antennas. I will say this. Avoid any antenna sold by Amazon. Because a lot of times what you're getting on Amazon is a copy of. It's maybe a clone or a, what's the word I'm looking for? Counterfeit?
Fake.
So avoid those Amazon antennas. And sometimes when you buy radio stuff on Amazon, the description is not at all what part you get. So there doesn't seem to be any regulation with Amazon in terms of product accuracy or description accuracy. And if you complain, they may send your money back. They may refund you, but you still don't have an antenna that you can use.
Well, I had an issue with them. There's a battery for my laptop.
Yeah.
Ordered one 6 months ago for my granddaughter's laptop, same one. Come in fine, work fine. The one I get, the leads to plug it into the motherboard were like an inch short. So
Oh.
it would not sit. So I asked to send it back. Well, it came from China, so I had to ask them to get a return label. They refunded the price of just the battery, and half the sales tax and none of the shipping. So then I had to send an email out to ask for why didn't I get all that back? Oh, now we send it to you. So yeah, be careful what you buy and
Yeah.
where you buy it from.
Yeah, so that can be frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's continue with additional check-ins. Oh, looks like we've got one more here. We've got Whiskey 4 Delta, Golf Alpha, Willard, and Homer checking in on YouTube. Let's continue on with additional RF check-ins. Net control standing by.
This is Kilo 4 Kilo Lima Yankee, K4KLY, Kelly in Marietta, Georgia, checking in and out.
LY?
This is
I think that's what it said.
This is November 0 Delta Lima Mike. Dana from Dahlonega, high atop Mount Olympus. Checked in once, apparently didn't hear it. Trying again. I'll be in.
You're in there, Dana.
This is Kilo Robert 4 Lima Oscar Lima, Randall in Buford. Check me in and check me out.
I thought he said ZOL.
KR4 LOL.
LOL. Okay.
LOL.
LOL. I don't think he's a member yet. Who was it?
Randall in Buford.
Randall. Yeah, because he just got his license, didn't
Yeah, he just got it.
Yeah.
This is AR4 JYT, Bob in the Woodstock, checking in, checking out.
Mark said, great call, LOL. I don't think Randall needs a vanity call sign after. I don't think I changed the LOL.
I wouldn't either. I would just roll
It's
with that.
got to
one.
be
It's-
rememberable.
You're gonna always get a kick out of that one.
Yeah.
This is KR4JYT.
Live.
I don't know if you caught me last time. Bob in Woodstock.
No.
Checking in, checking out.
Did you get Bob? JYT. Yeah, JYB?
Yeah.
JYT, I think.
JYT? Or
Is he T or B? I thought he was Bravo. Bob, is that Kilo Romeo 4 Julia Yankee Bravo or Julia Yankee Tango?
I'm sorry. Juliet Yankee Tango.
All right, you were correct. All right.
But not right.
That's
Not
right.
Okay.
That's right. He was correct. So, Bob, we've got you. It even pops up when we put the correct call in there. Very good. So, all right, Bob, we've got you in here. Dana, we've got you in here as well. You're all the way
We
up
heard you
at,
both times, Dana.
Yeah, I just didn't call out to you because I didn't feel like it at the time. But also we heard from, I believe that was Kilo 4 Kilo Lima Yankee. Might have got that wrong, but that's what I have in a log. I don't have a first name to go with that, so. But that was the first call that we heard when we came back to check-ins here. Also, Kilo Romeo 4 Laughing Out Loud. Randall, otherwise known as Gainesville 100 on the other band.
Brand new tech.
Brand new tech. That's
Congrats.
a great call. So glad to have you in there. All right, that's where we're at the moment. So let's go ahead and see, Bob, we've got you. You've been acknowledged. I don't see any new YouTubes. It looks like there's a couple of them in there. Ed's going to just have to catch up. No, he's pretty well caught up. We got McDonough 32 in there. We've got Atlanta 379 in the YouTube side. Yeah, he's mostly caught up. We can go ahead and throw those GMRS calls in there on the YouTube side, Ed, and they just
don't populate.
they're just not allowed to talk on the air.
Right.
But
They're on YouTube, so I don't think they're going to talk on the air.
Yeah, we got that covered. All right. So with that, let's go to the top, and we're going to talk about PL tones and
Tones,
CTCSS tones, and what's the other one?
DCS.
DCS tones. The digital coded squelch. All right. What's PL stand for?
Private line.
Private line? I don't
Maybe?
think that. I don't,
No.
no, I've heard that.
I think Julie said we joke and say it's a private line, but it's not.
Yeah, no, it's really not. And there's no privacy in two-way radio. I mean, so
none.
if you ever think that you're having a private conversation because you've got your super secret FRS codes turned on,
They just haven't told you they're listening.
That's right. That's right. So back in the party line days, we used to listen in all the time. But
Most people don't know what a party line is nowadays, right?
I suppose that's probably true. That's probably true. All right, let's take a break, and we're going to head to the top. Tony, Rogers, do you guys have any comments or questions with regard to tones? I've always kind of wondered how that worked, didn't you?
That was the first thing I did with GMRS, getting started. And before I even transmitted, figuring out the tones and
Right.
how to put it in the radio. And that was a whole adventure in itself. And eventually I got up the courage to kind of call for a radio check. And
Yeah.
oh, it's working. I did that right. Okay.
But, as a brand new radio guy and you're learning about tones,
No.
you kind of understand that you have to have the tone in the radio, but did you really understand what it was
No.
or how it worked?
I just
No.
I just knew it was some kind of code. And I'm like,
Code.
let me put
Some
the code
kind of
in.
stream that was coming through before I talked or when I keyed to turn something else on is the premise.
Well, I think one of my goals is because, there's a lot of folks that are brand new, and they hear these terms, but they don't really know. They may know that they had to program a tone into their radio to be able to access the repeater.
Secret code word.
But what is that? What is that
It's a secret
for?
code word, isn't it?
What's it do? So yeah. Well, I mean, sometimes it's secret, and sometimes it's made pretty public. Like for instance, in North Georgia GMRS, all of those tones are published on the website.
Yep.
But yet in North Georgia Amateur Radio Association, those tones are not published.
Right.
So they're
Different
not that hard to find. If you need to find them and you want to be able to listen in, they're out there. You can find them.
And some radios can search and find a tone as well when they hear it.
That's right.
So
So it's not as secret as double secret stuff that we'd like it to be, but at the same time, it's not made public because in amateur radio, there's a certain expectation that if you can hear a repeater, you can talk on a repeater, and it's free and it's available to everybody. But that's just not the case with the North Georgia Amateur Radio Association repeaters. It's a linked repeater network, much like North Georgia GMRS is, and there's an expectation of support. So we've gotten quite a lot of support. It's really amazing to me how much support we've gotten. Are we 6 months old? Yeah, we're 6 months old now. But we're not a year old. We launched in, I think, September of 25. And in that time, we've already got well over 100, nearly, I think, 125 members. I'm going to look real quick to see what that number actually is. But I think that support is amazing. And what that does is it helps to offset the actual costs in installing each one of the repeaters that we plan to put up for North Georgia Amateur Radio Association. So currently we are at 122
Nice.
supporting members, and that's what helps us to be able to pay for the equipment, for the tower rent, and for the installation. So some of these sites, a lot of these sites nowadays, let's break. A lot of these sites that we're on nowadays, we're not able to climb the towers with volunteers anymore. We have to hire a regular tower crew to do all the tower work. We have some. I guess it's one of the growing pains you have. You get to a certain size, and you get to a certain point, and then you have to get insurance.
Right.
So, and the insurance company says, "What?
Yeah, we're not. We're not in
can't-
somebody's backyard anymore, right?
You can't be on the tower." So, so we're not allowed to climb our own towers anymore. So, with that in mind, we do have.
And I was so volunteering to do that too.
Yeah. Okay, I talked to somebody just the other day that made mention about climbing towers, and I said, "Be careful now.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Be careful. There's always a need for that around here." But yeah, we can't really do that as volunteers anymore. So, and that just adds to the expense when it comes to installing or maintaining any of our equipment. So, we put a lot of man hours in volunteers on the tower at Flagship when we acquired that site. That tower was just a mess with junk.
Was it?
With broken antennas, with bad heliacs, with just a lot of junk. And we pulled a lot of stuff off the tower and got it very, very clean now. Everything that's on the tower now is doing something functional. There's nothing up there that's been abandoned or is no longer being used. Everything that's on the tower is active. So, and that's not always the case when you're operating off of amateur antennas and amateur towers. There's always circumstances where you have stuff that's up in the air that's no longer being used, and
I mean, it's pretty costly to have your own tower anymore.
It can be. Can be. Well, just ask Blue Ridge 63 how much money he's got.
Yes.
Standing up his tower, and I think it was more. Certainly more than it was budgeted for, and I think he was kind of surprised because when you first start talking about it, right? So it's what, $200 a section for Roan 45, $225,
Right.
to buy antenna sections. Well, I mean, all right, well that's cool.
Okay.
Well, all right, no, I need 10 of them.
Yeah.
That's over $2,000,
Mm-hmm.
and we haven't put anything in the air yet. You got concrete. There's another $2,000 or $3,000 in
Guide
concrete. In order to be able to pour that concrete, you had to bring in a pump because you couldn't drive the truck.
Yeah, you're not mixing that yourself.
To
right?
each, no, and too many bags. I mean, that would be 100, 150 bags in each hole.
That's a lot.
That'd be too much to do. So, it's a big project, and it's a lot to take on. So, if you have access to a club repeater tower or a private tower that you can get on, then that's the best way to go. Let's break. But back to tones. One of the things that took me a while to understand with PL tones. All right, so when you key up your radio, you're transmitting your audio signal, but along with that, when your radio is programmed correctly, you're going to be transmitting the tone that is required to open up the repeater. So what happens when that repeater opens up? You open the squelch on the repeater with that subaudible tone, and that just really all that does is it turns on the receive for that repeater and lets that transmitter retransmit everything that repeater hears. So once we've opened up that squelch and that carrier remains, that repeater is going to continue to operate until that carrier drops. So even if you unkey,
Right.
the carrier that might still be there, might not even be yours, but if it's on the same frequency and that repeater sees that there's still a carrier even though you've unkeyed, it's going to continue to rebroadcast everything that it hears. And so what you might have is you might have somebody that's on a different repeater with a different PL tone but the same frequency, and you might hear a little snippet of their conversation after you've unkeyed. You might hear a word or two, you might hear a sentence. You might not hear anything at all because they're too far away and they're not activating the repeater. But sometimes you'll hear foreign traffic come in on our repeater network, and it's clear that it wasn't intended for that conversation, but it can be very confusing
Right.
when it first happens. So if you hear stuff like that, that's probably what you're hearing. Now, in amateur radio, our repeaters are coordinated. And so what that means is that someone has sat down and looked at all of the repeaters within the region and assigned coordinated frequencies to us based on frequency and location. And the idea being that we may be sharing frequencies with other stations in other parts of the country, but we're far enough away that we're unlikely to interfere with one another. In GMRS radio, there is no coordination.
No.
So the only coordination you can do is to grab your radio and start flipping through the channels and look to see if you have a channel, a frequency that doesn't have very much traffic on it. And you might need to do that several times across several days and several different time periods in order to be able to ensure that that you're hearing a wide sampling of availability for frequencies. But you also may be in a situation where every channel you listen to has traffic on it.
Right.
Let's break. And there's lots of places around here where that's the case.
Right.
Where you can be at high elevation perhaps, and because of your elevation you're hearing signals from very distant repeaters. It doesn't necessarily mean that you can't install your own repeater. It just means that you're going to have to be a little more careful about it, and that you're going to have to carefully consider what PL tones you use, whether you use analog tones or DCS tones.
So are the tones determined by, what is it? Is it CERT? Who's the coordinator?
The tones are determined really by the repeater owner. We
Okay.
can use whatever tones we
But
choose.
just the frequencies are determined by
I-
the
in-
coordinator.
In amateur radio, the frequencies are determined by the coordinator.
Okay.
Frequency and location.
Okay.
So if we move off of a location,
Right.
we don't necessarily get to take that frequency with us.
Right.
We have to re-coordinate for.
Okay. Because that's good for that area.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
I get it.
So, and for instance, we had it intended on locating in Dallas.
Right.
And when that went away, we asked for coordination for a new location at Mount Alto. And I believe it ended up being a different frequency than the Dallas frequency.
Okay.
I would have to go look at all the documentation.
Which would make sense
to
because
be
that's a
sure
pretty
that-
good distance away.
Yeah, yeah. So, and it's not a big deal. Coordination's not a huge deal. It's just, and now that we've moved off of Dallas, that frequency at that location is likely still available.
Right.
So if somebody wanted to stand up their own amateur repeater using the frequency that we had once coordinated, they'd likely get it. That's certainly available. So that's primarily the difference in operating in amateur radio versus GMRS radio is coordination. And by using coordinators, we can absolutely minimize the likelihood that somebody's going to hold our repeater after we've cleared. In GMRS, we have a high volume of repeaters in a geographically relatively small area, and so we do have all of the frequencies. across North Georgia in one location or another.
Right.
And in some cases, we have 2 or maybe even 3 repeaters on the same frequency right here within our own network.
Right.
And we're able to do that by using different PL tones on each one. So if you're in between 2 repeaters that are operating on the same frequency, you may hear some intermod between them if they're both transmitting, and it will be at the same time. You get onto mountain peaks, you may hear some of that intermod because you're hearing more than one repeater coming at the same time. But with FM, when you have 2 competing FM signals, most FM receivers are able to discriminate and pull in whichever one has the best signal noise ratio.
Okay.
Let's break. But when it's almost perfect match, then you'll hear that intermod, and it's pretty clear once you've heard it, you'll understand what you're hearing because you'll hear a wavering kind of a sound between the one competing with the other, and they kind of work back and forth against each other, and there's nulls and peaks where the signal cancels and then the signal reinforces based on timing and phase and all kinds of scientific-y stuff.
Right.
But that intermodulation that you sometimes hear in GMRS, it's pretty infrequent to hear that on amateur radio.
Right.
Let's break. And let's go to Kilo Quebec 4, Whiskey Echo Brava. Ed in Kennesaw. Ed's helping us out tonight with the with logging.
Appreciate it, Ed.
Yeah, and we're glad to have you here to help out with that. And Ed, do you have any comments, questions, or concerns with regards to PL tones?
Well, good evening, everyone. No comments or no concerns. One funny story I'll share. When I first joined 3 years ago, I knew nothing about PL tones. I knew nothing about repeaters. And I just remember seeing or hearing a bunch of people that sounded like they were right around the corner from me on channels 15 through 22 on my brand new GMRS radio. But every time I called out, nobody would answer. And I just thought that it was just a bunch of snobs that they obviously could hear me because I could hear them like they were standing around the corner. But lo and behold, I did a little bit of reading and research, and then I realized that the problem was not the people, it was me. So I quickly programmed my repeater, and all of a sudden those snobs turned into very friendly, very approachable people, and I've been here ever since.
Oh, very cool. And yeah, I think that's one thing that a lot of people that are brand new to radio and don't necessarily understand how all of that works. They can hear somebody on the radio, and when they transmit, nobody answers.
Right.
Why does no one answer?
Why is nobody answering? This thing, is this broke already?
Right.
I just got this.
And, so, and especially, look, because we share frequencies with simplex. So
Yep.
there's a lot of times you may be on a simplex frequency, and you're trying to transmit back to talk to someone that won't answer. So a couple of things that you have to know as a brand new user, is whether you're on a simplex or on a repeater pair. And if you're on a repeater pair, is your radio configured properly? So if it's a Part 95 radio, it probably is. But if you're trying to set up a Part 97 radio, which is not really even a part, that's just, if you're trying to set up a ham radio to work on GMRS, the offset is typically different than it would be in amateur. And then the tones are the other thing. Right. So if you're not successful in being able to get anybody to answer you, and you know for sure that you're on a repeater pair, then the most probable reason for not getting an answer is going to be that the tone is programmed incorrectly. So when you program the tone, there's 2 places that you want to program that tone. You want to program the tone definitely on the transmit side of your radio. So whichever program you're using, if it's a proprietary manufacturer's program, if it's chirp, if it's some CPS software for a particular kind of radio, the verbiage and terminology can be different. But no matter how it's spelled out or what terms they use, you want to be sure you set your tone on a transmit side of your radio. And in GMRS, that's going to be on a 467. You're going to transmit, and your radio is going to transmit on 467. You're going to listen on 462.
Try to use the drop down or whatever the list they have. Don't try to manually enter it.
But the easy button is set the same tone on the transmit and receive, and then it doesn't matter. If you set the same tone on both, all of the North Georgia GMRS repeaters use the same tone.
Right.
There is one repeater in the area that I'm aware of that uses split tones.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the Cherokee repeater on Pine Log Mountain.
Right.
They enabled split tones because they were having some interference issues, and thought that split tones might make it more difficult for
the crosstalk or whatever
for people that
they're
are
having.
that don't belong there. There were people without a license that were using the repeater.
Oh, okay.
And so that they did the split tone to try to move those folks off of it. So there's that's the key though. Let's break. That's the key, is getting that tone set properly in your radio. And once you have that on both the transmit and the receive side, then you should be able to talk to any traffic on that repeater just fine. So why do we need it on the transmit and on the receive?
Transmit, you're opening it, but on the receive, it's a good question. I don't know. I don't know the answer.
So when I was new at this, I thought it'd be really cool
Uh-oh.
to leave the receive side open with no tone.
Well, you're getting everybody that way, right?
And you hear everybody in the neighborhood. So I would hear kids in the neighborhood talking on the radio, and I would hear them on Simplex. I would hear everything. And it is kind of neat to be able to hear that. But if you're going to do that, what you really need to do is set up a different radio to monitor locally.
All right.
And then have your main radio set up to be, your base radio or what have you. Set that up to be the radio that you monitor the repeater on.
Because on the receive side, it's just when it gets that signal, it opens the speaker up and lets you hear just from that repeater or that particular signal.
That's right. So when you do set the receive the tone on your receive, you're gonna squelch out. You're going to eliminate all of the traffic that doesn't have the tone. Okay. All of our repeaters will repeat the same tone on the transmit side that they hear. So they're going to repeat that tone, and if you program that tone in on your radio on the receive side, then it'll filter out the kids in the neighborhood. And here's the challenge: is oftentimes when you're monitoring, you can't tell if those kids in the neighborhood are coming over the repeater. Right. Or if they're local. Right. Because receive is receive. The green light looks the same.
Yeah, it's not giving you a location.
Either way. So that's why I recommend using a separate radio to receive locally. Set one radio up on channel 16 with no tones, or on channel what is flagship on the Simplex side?
I think it's 20.
Is it 20?
Is it 20? Set it up on channel 20 with no tones. Then you can monitor the kids in the neighborhood, and you can grab that HT when you hear something. You can grab that HT and talk to them, and that can be kind of fun. And it's fun to get on in the air and just banter back with people locally, and it gives you a chance to get to know some folks in your neighborhood, kind of like the Simplex Challenge. And but it's very casual. These are FRS radios sometimes, and these are walkie-talkie people that don't realize that GMRS requires a license. They don't know anything. So it can be a lot of fun sometimes to work those contacts, and but that's the big reason why you'd want to have tones on both the transmit and the receive, because it can be really confusing if you don't do that. That's great. Well, good stuff, Ed. I appreciate your comments. Next, we have Mr. Noodle, November 0.
That wanted to get in the log twice.
He's in there at least twice. November 0, Delta Lima Mike. Dana, what are your comments with regards to PL tones?
Well, first and foremost, good evening to you, Justin, Tony, Rogers, and I don't believe Gary's there tonight.
No.
At least I haven't heard him. You guys are doing a great job as always. And the only thing I have to add, and Tony briefly touched on it, is when you're programming your radio, let the software that you're using auto-populate, at least, give it the effort. Let it do the work, because 90% of the time, the software is going to sense what you're trying to do and pick the right PL tones, etc. I'm not saying do not review it. Definitely review it, because software has been wrong before. But save yourself some time. Let me break. Just about every radio maker has their own software. You have RT Systems that, and then ICOM has theirs, and Kenwood has theirs, Anytone. The good thing about it is the majority of them, except for Chirp, the majority of them pretty much look the same. So once you've programmed one radio, you don't have to panic. When you buy a new radio, it's pretty much going to be the same. That's really just about it. I have none of that. You guys have been very informative and very good with your descriptions. So I'll turn it back over to you and let y'all have fun.
All right, Dana, and that's a great point. The code plug, and that's the term that we use for the data that you program into your radio. The code plug is that software program that you use to program all the different channels, all the different frequencies, all of the PL tones. That's your code plug. And that code plug, sometimes you can download that code plug out of a radio and put the same code plug into another radio. We refer to that as cloning sometimes. You can clone 2 radios or 3 radios or as many as you want with the same programming to ensure that they're all set up the same way. So if you know how to use one, you know how to use all of them. We all have Anytone radios, right?
Mm-hmm. I do.
When I pick up somebody else's Anytone radio, if I need to change channels, it's not cut and dried. I don't necessarily know what zone that frequency might be in. I don't know. The code plug in your radio is probably very different than the code plug in my radio. So once you've experienced that, it can be really confusing to try to find different things in different people's radios, because you do have a lot of custom capabilities. So if you're the guy that's going to program radios for your family, for your friends, then you may want to adopt a pretty standardized code plug. You may make some custom changes for this person or that person, but overall, you want to build out a code plug that you can be familiar with, so that you can coach somebody through any issues that they may have if you've programmed their radio. Because that's one thing that happens is once you program a radio for somebody,
right?
Now you're the
radio guy.
You're the radio guy. You're the radio expert. You're the help desk.
Mm-hmm.
For every radio you've ever touched.
IT call.
And I had a buddy of mine. He just bought a pair of HT radios, and he just sent me a picture of them. And then he was like, "What do I do now?" So I'm gonna have to walk him through step by step. This is how you plug in a repeater, and this is how you So,
and and it can be intimidating. And I can't tell you how many times we've seen people get the $25, $30 radio off of Amazon, and they've got it in their hand. The radio came with a perfectly functional leaflet manual with instructions on how to program PL tones and CTCSS and DCS and what those tones are and where they're at and how to get them programmed in your radio. But I mean, so many of us don't even know what that is. So how do we know what to program? How do we even know? How do you know where to go to find those tones?
Right.
All right. So there are a couple of handy resources that you can use. One of them would be Radio Reference, right? Mm-hmm. What's the other one for?
Repeater book.
Repeater book. That's right. Let's break. So Radio Reference, Repeater book is the one that Repeater book has all of the North Georgia GMRS frequencies. I think that the ARA frequencies are in repeater book, but the tones are hidden.
The tones are hidden, yes.
So Reddit is going to be your source for the tones. Wait, did I say that out loud?
Oops.
There's no way to find the tones for North Georgia Amateur Radio Association. They're not out there. Not
Anywhere.
even on Reddit. Wink, wink.
Yes.
It's a secret.
It's a secret.
It's top secret, so you cannot find them
Starts with a handshake of some sort, right?
anywhere. But in any case, if you once you find those tones, then looking through the manual sometimes isn't as cut and dried. I'm terrible about reading. I can look at a manual and I can read through it cover to cover, and half of it, 3/4 of the manual is written in 3 other languages, and so you get to the 2 pages that are English, and then what was all that? So it can be tough sometimes to comprehend what you're looking at, especially if you're new to all this.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have questions, Facebook is a great place to go. Now, I wouldn't go just anywhere on Facebook.
No.
There's some couple of web pages. There's one that's a GMRS beginners web page, and that one seems to be improving in terms of good information for new folks. But I think the best place to go if you're a brand new GMRS user from any part of the country, go to North Georgia GMRS Facebook page.
Yep.
Just got a chat saying that we timed out.
Oh, don't see the timer going.
Are we good now?
Let me reset. That may have been a result of a too fast reset.
Might have been.
All right, that was from Colt 45, right?
Yes.
All right. I think probably we reset too quickly, and that's why we timed out.
Did you see Scott's comment there on YouTube there?
Which Scott?
Canton man. Anyway.
Okay. All right. Well, and that's part of it, right?
Yeah.
So Scott's trying to program the radio on the fly, and so he's trying to figure it out so that he can get checked in tonight. Hang on there, Scott, a little bit. We'll open it up for additional check-ins, but yeah, that's the big challenge, either in GMRS or in amateur radio. So Scott is fully qualified to check in on the air tonight, and hope that he's able to get it done.
Right.
All right, Ernest in Duluth. I have that as KQ4MKS. Do we know if that's correct?
I don't know.
I'm not sure I got it right.
Sounds right.
Ernest, let me know if
Sounds
that's right or not.
This is KQ4MKS, Kilo, Quebec 4, Mike, Kilo, Sierra. Justin, you got it right.
Fantastic. Thank you, Ernest. All right, with that, do you have any comments or questions, or what was your experience in learning how to program PL tones, and how long did it take you to figure that out when you were brand new at radio?
Well, in all honesty, I've been around radios my whole life, and you know how that goes, but it took me more than a moment. And I experienced some of the things that Ed was talking about initially with the cheap radios, that I had. And so, yeah, I've been down that road and hit those bumps and so forth. But I'll say this, I don't know if this is exactly true or not, but with the RTS software, if you get it for a particular brand, it seems like different models, it doesn't really care. It'll just go ahead and talk to that model and allow you to do what you need to do. I've got 2 different models of any tones, and I can use the one RTS software for both of them, and it doesn't care about firmware levels or anything like that. It just goes ahead and does the job. So I don't know if anybody's seen that or not.
Yeah, and that can be tricky too, and when you get into upgrading firmware, that's one of the things that I would recommend. If the radio is doing all the things that you need it to do, don't change the firmware. Just leave it alone, because that's your best opportunity to brick the radio.
Yes.
If you do a firmware update and it doesn't load fully, when that radio reboots, That's its operating system. That's
Right.
its that's the computer data that tells that computer in that radio how to operate and how to behave. And so if your firmware update doesn't go well, then you may not get that radio to the point where it even knows how to be a radio and how to talk on its COM port anymore.
And some seem to be more difficult to upgrade than others. Like it does on some certain models. We won't mention their names, but yeah, that's the biggest fear is it's going to brick. It's going to brick if you don't do this right. It can't be that difficult because some other radios are real easy to upgrade.
And I'll tell you,
They
also
do it by
consider
themselves.
if you're running a Part 90 radio, if you're running a Part 90 radio, avoid firmware updates at all costs because all Part 90 radios, the older Part 90 radios are probably still wideband.
Right.
And that's what you want in GMRS radios. You want wideband. If you update the firmware, that radio will now be a narrowband only radio, and it can be really, really tough to revert it back into a wideband radio. Now, like with Motorola radios, you can get a wideband. What's the word they use for that? It's a entitlement. You can get a wideband entitlement for Motorola radios. But it's not an easy thing to do, and I don't think it's even free. I think that you have to pay to get the entitlement.
Wow.
So, here's the rub, right, with Part 90 radios. If the FCC sees a wideband radio on what should be a narrowband frequency, they're not going to look for you to issue fines. They're going to look at Kenwood or ICOM or Motorola, and that's who's going to eat the fines. That's why they make it so difficult to get the radio into wideband. So once you update the firmware in a Kenwood, it's a narrowband radio. And they're not made to roll back firmware.
Right.
So it can be really tough sometimes to get them to roll back. You'll definitely want to be sure that you know what you're looking for when you update firmware. But even when we get into our Part 95 radios, if the radio is doing all the things you need it to do,
Right.
I wouldn't update the firmware because that's an opportunity for error. Let's break. 1,000, 2, 1,000.
1,003.
Yeah, we got to make sure we break long enough. All right. Well, good stuff. And that's a great point, Ernest. And the various softwares, I guess some can be more or less finicky in terms of what radio they'll talk to. It seems like with Kenwood radios, every radio model they have requires a different software.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just crazy because once you open up the software, you're looking at it, one version versus the next version versus that, they all look the same. But you have to have that different software version to be able to talk to different radios. Whereas Chirp will talk to several Kenwood radios.
Right.
Not all of them, but many of
Mark
them.
said he had to pay, I don't know, I think that was $5 for a wideband entitlement on his Motorola.
Okay, yeah. I didn't know what the cost was, but I was fairly
I assume
certain it
that's
wasn't
$5.
free. Yeah, and not only that, but I think that Motorola will make you jump through quite a number of hoops to even get the entitlement because they want to be sure that you're applying that to a radio that ought to have it.
Right.
They don't want you putting wideband on a radio that's meant for narrow. Next on the list, thanks for those comments, Ernest. I appreciate that. Next on the list is Dan, Kilo Romeo 4 Echo Kilo Hotel, Dan in Marietta. He may or may not be available. Let's try him. Dan?
Yes, hello. This is Dan in Marietta, KR4 68. Yeah, I find this to be somewhat interesting. I don't know when I can't really add anything to this conversation. You guys are doing a fantastic job, and I really enjoy listening to it. So I'm turning it back over to you.
And of course, the best option when it comes to programming PL tones in your radio is to just take your radio and hand it to somebody that knows what they're doing.
If you've got that kind of friends, yes.
Yeah. And I mean, so we do. We all have those kind of friends. You can show up. When is the next geek meet?
I don't know. I didn't read the announcement.
It's right here. The Meet and Geek will be on Tuesday, May 12th. So if you need one of those friends who will,
We know a friend. We know a guy.
yeah, we know a guy. If you need somebody who will program your radio for you, and forever be the tech support guy for your radio, you can show up at the Meet and
You
Geek.
keep that up, and he won't be doing the YouTubes very much longer. He won't have time.
You can show up at the Meet and Geek and let Ed know that you're coming. Let him know what radio you have, so he can be sure he has the right cables and software, and he can help you get your radio programmed with the correct PL tones for all of the NGARA frequencies and for North Georgia GMRS as well. If you let him know what radio you have, like there's a handful of radios that only give you 8 repeater pairs,
Right.
because there are only 8 repeater pairs. But if that's all you have, you can't put all of our repeaters on that radio unless that radio will let you do multiple zones. So you may have to have 8 of our radios, 8 of our repeaters in one zone. And you may have to set 2 or 3 zones to get all of our repeaters programmed into your Part 95 radio. So that can be the case sometimes. Ed will know how to do that, and Ed will know how to talk you through getting your radio operational for you. Some radios have the ability to program as many repeater pairs as there are
And
memory
many zones.
slots in that
Yes.
radio. So like you can have perhaps a couple of hundred memory slots available in each zone, and you might have maybe a dozen or more zones. So that can be also confusing if you've got all these different zones for different things and you can't remember which zone which thing is in, and it's not labeled well. So
I keep all my stuff organized. So I have Georgia, ham repeaters, Atlanta ham repeaters, but then I have the surrounding states. So if I'm traveling, I have Alabama, Tennessee, Florida. So just in case if I'm out and about, I can talk all throughout the state, or if I'm out of state, I can still.
Yeah, it
I still
doesn't
have
take
that in
long
the
to
memory.
get out of hand, does it?
No, I have
At
so
all.
many
with
channels
zones and channels
Zones, it's crazy.
on the amateur side, that's for sure.
Right.
And what I want to shout out to Hatchet Jack Phillips, got his tech this week, got his call sign Tuesday. He said he's from Cincinnati. He's listening on YouTube.
oh, fantastic!
Congrats.
Let's break. Did he give us a call sign? Can we call that out?
I want to say KGUV7D, but that looks too big. Is that right? I don't know. Oh, wait, my bad. I looked at it wrong. KF8GJJ.
Kilo Foxtrot 8 Golf Juliet Golf.
No, Juliet.
Oh, Juliet.
Yes.
Ah,
Congrats.
that's a tough call sign, Juliet.
Yeah.
But three queens.
Three queens.
Three queens.
Jen.
Jen,
Jennifer. Jennifer.
What is her? Is Kilo Quebec for Quebec something Quebec?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's Juliet.
Three queens.
I think it's a J.
I think it is a J. But yeah,
she's embraced it now.
well, you have to.
Yes.
I mean, 3 Qs and a call sign. That's one you
Yes.
just that's not as good as LOL.
No,
But,
LOL's got you there, Randall.
That's good stuff. All right, Dan, thanks for those comments. Let's continue on. Next is Colt. Kilo 0, Alpha Mike Tango. Colt in the Carpet Baggers Club.
Area rug.
Area Rugs, yeah. Go ahead, Colt.
Colt. You're on YouTube, too.
Oh, yeah.
We're calling you for on the RF side, Colt.
Kilo Oscar. Did I get that right? No, it's not Kilo Oscar. It's Kilo
Zero.
Alpha Mike Tango. Kilo 0.
Mr. ATM. No, AMT.
AMT. ATM. Maybe he is Mr. ATM. I don't know. Colt, are you there? All right, I think last time we did this, he had a dead battery, so maybe that's the problem again. We'll see if Colt comes around a little bit later. Let's move on to Rhino. Kilo Romeo 4 Golf Whiskey Bravo. Rhino in Atlanta. Rhino, did you have any trouble figuring out the PL tones and the CTCSS and the DCS with GMRS or with amateur radio?
Good evening, Net Control, KR4 Golf Whiskey Bravo. I wouldn't say I had trouble. I mean, it's just all about learning. I'm an avid learner. I love learning. So, thank God for YouTube. I always praise YouTube. If there's anything I want to know, I just start digging on YouTube. And so, with YouTube and an owner's manual, I could probably program the space shuttle that just went around the moon. So I really am grateful for that. I first started, and I learned by doing. So I do it. I mess it up and learn how to fix it. So that's how I do. Let me cycle real quick. And so I had bought some FRS radios for the kids, and I bought a fancy GMRS radio for myself. And I really dug in learning, and I didn't have programming software. I did it by mashing on the front of that GMRS radio as feverishly as I could until I learned how to program them in, and I could talk to the FRS radios my kids ran around with. They float. They're waterproof. They're nearly indestructible. Redivus makes them. They're great. So that I could talk to them with my fancy light up color screen GMRS radio and and dazzle them with my amazing radio. So that's what I did. And then of course the obsession, the sickness had taken root, and I started learning more and more. But YouTube is a great resource. The owner's manual. I am the type of guy. Let me cycle. There's two types of people. One person opens the box. They take the owner's manual and they throw it in the trash can. And then there's me. I open the box. I savor the unboxing. I set it off to the side. I sit down with a glass of Chianti and a smoking pipe and a jacket in my recliner, and I read the manual front cover to back cover. And that sounds ridiculous, but I actually do. I really enjoy reading it and understanding what I'm doing first. And then I kind of dig in, and when I'm going through the menus, I'm like, oh, yeah, I saw that. So anyways, great job tonight, guys. Good to hear you. Glad to be back on the air again. This is KR4 Golf Whiskey Bravo for station ID, and I'll be clear.
All right, Rhino. Well, thank you for that, and great points. There's so much information in the manual. Right. Even in poorly written manuals, there's a lot of details in there. If we would just take the time but I mean, sometimes that's not within our comprehension.
True. Because we don't know enough yet to know what we're reading sometimes.
Oftentimes that's the case. And the whole idea of, because, I mean, you don't use PL tones in CB radio.
No.
Everybody's familiar with CB radio, and many of us have used CB radio at some point or another, and there was never any programming to do when it came to CB radio. You could buy, we could go to Love's Tonight and put down a couple $100 and come back with a Cobra 29.
Right.
Which is probably not the same Cobra 29 that I have somewhere on the shelf. But the radio doesn't require anything other than power and an antenna.
Right.
It's going to come with everything else. It's going to come with a microphone. It's going to come
already preset.
Channels are preset. There's no programming to do. It's as plug and play as a radio can be. These radios are not really plug and play. They can be. So when you're talking simplex, you could tune to two radios to the same simplex channel, and you can make them talk out of the box, no programming. You want to talk on a repeater? You probably hear that when you're scanning through the channels
Right.
on a Thursday night, and you hear these guys talking about who knows what. You're likely going to hear that, but how do you talk back to them? And that's where so many people become confused, like Ed had talked about, trying to respond to that conversation. Hey, can I get in? Why are these guys ignoring me? Why? Well, it's because they can't hear you.
Because it's not like our phone. The app just works. You know,
Yeah,
it's
right.
already everything's predetermined in the app or on your phone. It's already there. You don't have to do anything. And if you're too young for CBs, then your reference is the phone, so you don't know that it's not working right. You're like you brought a defective radio.
That's right. So that can be the challenge sometimes. Next we have Kilo 4 Kilo Lima Yankee. I think that call sign's right. He didn't pull anything up. That doesn't mean anything. We
Yeah.
If you're a member, it'll pull up your name, but we didn't get a name with that one. But Kilo 4 Kilo Lima Yankee, are you there?
Or if your call sign is close to that.
All right, maybe I goofed up your call sign. If it's something like Kilo 4 Kilo Lima Yankee, let's try that. All right, hearing nothing, we're going to keep right on moving. Next,
and this is the call sign you really wanted to get out there today, didn't you?
this is my favorite call sign in the entire roster. This is Kilo Romeo 4, Laughing Out Loud. Randall, in Buford. Randall,
Congrats.
Yes, congratulations. First of all, what was your biggest challenge in programming? You just programmed a radio probably this week.
This week. He might have been listening. Or maybe he didn't get it programmed.
We checked in.
That's it. He did check in, did he? Oh, Randall, we wanted to give you a hard time about that call sign.
Yeah, come on, Randall. Come on back and talk to us about programming your radio for North Georgia Amateur Radio Association.
Well, shucks.
All right, no response from Randall. We're going to continue on with Kilo Romeo 4 Juliet Yankee Tango. Bob in Woodstock. Bob showed up at our amateur radio testing on Saturday.
Nice.
Just to kind of
Say
cheer
hi.
on Mike and help encourage him in his testing.
Well, good. I'm glad.
And
Bob showed up.
Bob sat through the training, so now he's qualified
Excellent.
for testing in North Georgia Amateur Radio Association.
And I was going to be
So-
there, but had that wedding to go to. So.
Well, I've got a couple things to do to get Bob's credentials ready, but I think that having him officially in the roster as a VE for North Georgia Amateur Radio Association for the next test event shouldn't be a problem at all. So, Bob, I
Excellent.
will need some additional information from you. Look for an email from me sometime in the next week or so. And if you don't see that, send me an email and remind me at justin@ngGMRS.org. Bob, do you have any comments for tonight's net? PL tones, CTCSS, and DCS tones.
The coach said we doubled on them. Double, and then the repeater is timed out again. That's what coach just said. Well, about 5 minutes ago.
All right.
Go back to him or something.
Doubled on Randall.
On Colt.
On Colt.
Oh, on Colt. Bob in Woodstock, Kilo Romeo 4, Juliet Yankee Tango. Stand by, Colt. We'll come back to you here in just a moment.
Might be running a little long. No?
I don't know. Let's try Colt again. Kilo 0, Alpha Mike Tango in Dalton, the Area Rug Central. I think that's right. Go ahead, Colt. This is the part, Colt, where it's your turn to talk.
All right.
All right. I think Colt has to work out his PL tones.
Maybe. It's got too many.
PL tones, battery dead. I'm not sure what the case may be. One more time, Colt. Kilo 0, Alpha Mike Tango. All right, I'm going to come back to Ed here in just a moment, see if he found any comments in the YouTube live stream that we should talk about. But before we do that, let's go ahead and acknowledge some additional YouTube check-ins. We have our McDonough 32 Lance in the Stockbridge area. Lance is checking in on YouTube. We have Whiskey Alpha 0, Juliet Tango Whiskey, Cliff in Colioca, Tennessee is a YouTube check-in. We've got Canton Man, Scott, KN4 SLT, also one of our VEs for amateur radio testing. Scott is checking in on YouTube. We have Kilo Foxtrot 8, Golf Juliet Juliet, John in Cincinnati, brand new license, brand new technician. Glad to have you along, John. Congratulations on getting past that hurdle.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that. Here's the thing, John. You've got that momentum, and you've just been in the material.
I think he said in the comments that he's going for his general too.
Fantastic. I recommend that. Go right away. Go back for the general, because a lot of the material in a general test overlaps the material in the technician. The
a lot of wording's the same.
Yeah. So the step between technician and general is not a huge step. The step from general to extra is a little bit tougher, but you can do it. But, yeah, congratulations. Keep that momentum up and chase down that next license class. Next, we have a Kilo Charlie 4 Romeo Lima Oscar, David in Winder. He's also known as Gainesville 43 on our other band. Glad to have you in here tonight, David. And so with that is the end of our roster. We're going to take a...
But speaking of YouTube, make sure you like, share, and all that good stuff.
Subscribe.
Absolutely.
Comment.
We're gonna take another round of check-ins, but before we do that, I'd like to check in with Ed and see if there are any YouTube comments that he'd like to bring to the air.
Well, Justin, just one. Back to Canton Man, Scott. He was asking about Comet antennas. Do they come pre-tuned? So we had a little bit of discussion back and forth about, having the antenna pre-tuned, using it versus, trying to tweak it some more. So you may want to add your comments to that.
So that's kind of an interesting area, right? Antennas that are pre-tuned. There's so many things that come into play when you're looking at the performance of an antenna. And, we monoband antennas, wideband antennas, multi-band antennas, and what makes one do something that the other one can't? The wider the band that an antenna has, the larger the sweet spot's going to be where the SWR is low. Mm-hmm. But most of the antennas that we use in mobile applications are going to be pretty tight. In fact, so tight that they're really going to center on a frequency or a channel.
Right.
And everything around that channel is going to be a little bit worse, and the farther you get from that, the worse your SWR is. So you have to, in a lot of cases, you have to choose where you're going to be most of the time and know that once you get away from that, your performance is going to diminish slightly with each channel or each frequency farther away from what you tuned to. If you get into a monoband antenna, oftentimes you get a little more grace there because the bandwidth is a little wider.
Right. But you don't get as great a performance with that antenna. But
I disagree. I think a single wideband antenna will do better in, like for instance, in 2-meter applications where your spectrum is a little wider than it is in GMRS. I think that the monoband wideband antenna is the ideal antenna. Every time you use any sort of a multi-band antenna, you basically are using an antenna that sucks in 2 bands. All right, it's not going to be the best it can be at either band.
Right.
It's just tuned in such a way that its harmonic happens to land in that other band that you're trying to use. So everything that you're using in an alternative band is a harmonic on that antenna. It's not its primary resonance.
Right.
So you definitely don't have the same performance within that harmonic range as you do in its primary resonant range. And tri-band antennas are just the worst. Now you're in the second harmonic, and so you have that as it's a compromise. So you really, when you're switching bands, ideally you're going to be switching radios that are on their own monoband antenna, but that's not practical in a vehicle. Well, some of us can, but most of us can't have 18 antennas. Charlie Victor 2 times. Most of us can't have 18 antennas spread across the roof of our truck on their own dedicated antenna platform. We're really going to have 1 or 2 antennas mounted somewhere on the vehicle, and need to keep our cabling and our our install as basic as we're able to. So let's break. But that in my mind, that's the right answer. What CV does: 1 radio, 1 band.
Yeah, he's got a lot of antennas on that.
That's going to give you the best performance you can get. The problem that CV has is all the parasitic loss that he has from those unenergized antennas. Each time he keys up in that porcupine mess of an antenna farm he's got spread out across 5 feet across the top of his truck.
It's pretty cool to look at, though.
It is pretty cool to look at. So you have all that parasitic, all these antennas that may or may not resonate when he keys up. So if you have an antenna in proximity to the one you're transmitting on and it resonates, it's going to consume a significant amount of the energy coming off of your radio.
Right.
If those antennas don't resonate, they will to some degree. So they're going to take in some of that energy, and because they don't like it, they don't resonate at that frequency, they're immediately going to shed that. All right, so that ill-tuned or off-tuned parasitic antenna is going to pick up some of that energy and get rid of it. So you have 2 things that are happening. You have some phase error that's happening because of the time that signal spent bouncing around inside the antenna that it decided it can't live in. So that's going to come back off of that antenna slightly out of phase. And so it's going to produce a little bit of cancellation, otherwise known as signal loss, because it's nearby and it's radiating. So like when you stick an antenna on the side of a tower, we can get through that tower. We can radiate omnidirectionally around and through that tower. But that tower is going to generate a little bit of loss. Now the tower is going to have resonance frequency that's very, very different than the antenna. But every element within that tower is its own element.
Right.
So the crossbars are going to resonate at different frequencies than the angle bars, are going to resonate at different frequencies than the vertical bars, are going to resonate at different frequencies than the combination of all the vertical bars bolted together. So you have all of that contributes to the loss of signal coming off of the antenna when it's not at the top of the tower. Is that a significant loss? Not really.
No.
But is it measurable? It absolutely is. So that's one of the challenges when you're dealing with an installation like CVs is there's loss that's happening there. Again, is it significant? No. But measurable? Absolutely. So
nice.
Good
to know.
Yeah.
Especially when you have two antennas at home, 2 base antennas. You don't want to get them too close together because you have that same issue, even though if you're not using them at the same time.
Let me break. So one of the challenges that we had early on in net control was using a radio to talk on a radio for 2.5, 3 hours for a typical GMRS net.
Right.
how many radios have you ever had that would talk for that amount of time and be happy about it?
They're going to get hot. You can
not even for half that
cook
time.
on
They're
that
going to be a
thing.
little warm.
So we did a couple of things. We engaged in active cooling. All right, we put a fan on the radios, and the fan that I used was one that had a thermocouple that we would attach directly to the heatsink on the radio. So the hotter the radio got, the harder the fan would blow across it. But that really wasn't enough, and so the other tool that we used was AB on the radio.
radios.
So we would run the first radio for half an hour, and then we would switch to another radio and run it for half an hour. Both were Kenwoods, both were similar wattage, different models, but no one ever commented that they could hear which radio that we were on.
Right.
Everything in front of the radio, the microphones, the mixing console, all the equipment in front of the radio was exactly the same. And the process to switch radios was pretty much power on, power off. So we just power one on, power the other one off. And that would allow them. But it's one of those things that the antennas were separated. They were on separate antennas. So there wasn't any switching that had to be done with regard to that. But I always worried in the back of my head about parasitic loss, because we're talking about two antennas that are tuned very, very similarly. Now, in that case, we were using one of the antennas was an Ed Fong, and the other one was a Comet 712. So they did have a little different performance, but both of them performed well enough that no one ever commented about hearing any difference in the signal.
Nice.
So and that was when the studio was up at the house. Those antennas were 6 feet away from one another
Really?
at
That
almost
close?
the same elevation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was interesting, and that worked for us for quite a long time. I still have those radios, and those radios will get installed when we build out Studio B, but we'll still be operating just like we are here in Vanguard once we get over there. But very good stuff. All right. Thanks for those points. Let's go ahead and break for last call on additional check-ins and see if we have anyone else out there. Colt, if you're still there, we've called out to you several times and no response. So we can try you again. But the way that works is when we call out to you, you have to key up and
you
answer.
have to respond, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it could be that he's
got 4
PL.
nets. He's trying to log into 4 to 5 different nets somewhere else or something like that.
Or he's just got the wrong PL tones
He might.
programmed into his radio. So let's break. We're going to take last round of check-ins.
This is Colt 45, Kilo Zero Alpha Mike Tango, coming to you loud and clear from Dalton. Fixed my problem.
Fixed it.
All right. A loose nut.
This is Kilo Romeo 4, Bravo Romeo Uniform, Jonathan, Hickson, Tennessee.
Bruh.
M0DLM with a ending comment.
This is KN4SLT, Kilo November 4 Sierra Lima Tangos. Scott from Woodstock,
There's Scott.
checking in as a guest check-in. Thank you, Net Control.
Guest chicken, did he say?
Guess chicken.
EQ4 MKO, Joe, Cleveland, checking in.
All right, let me go ahead and acknowledge what I've got here. We've got Kilo Zero Alpha Mike Tango with the loose nut. He figured out his trouble, so dead battery, loose nut, wrong PL tone, all of the above, maybe none of the above. Whatever his trouble was, I'm sure we'll find out here in just a minute from the carpet capital of the universe. Also, we heard from Kilo November 4, Sierra Lima Tango.
Scott.
And I see your comment there, Tony. Thank you for that. Scott in
Holly Springs, isn't it?
Holly Springs.
That's Holly Springs.
Yeah, Canton,
Good
Woodstock.
to hear you on the radio, Scott.
He's from all over the place. So, yeah, it's great.
Did he show up Saturday, too?
He was one of the VEs.
That's
yes.
what I thought.
Yeah, so okay. And he does the VE thing with excellence.
Does he?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's good to know.
He sat there quietly.
Didn't say a word?
Didn't say a word and observed,
all right.
which is the role. So, we also heard from Kilo Quebec 4, Mike, Juliet, Oscar, Joe in Cleveland. And Joe, by way of relay, I put in Kilo Quebec 4, Mike, Juliet, Lima. Bobby is an honorary check-in tonight.
Joe, tell him he owes you something.
Joe, tell him he owes you $5 and for the relay. We'll definitely do that. You tell him that, and I'll swear to it, and we'll be good. And also, Noodle, N0 Delta Lima Mike, checking in for the 5th or 6th, 7th?
No, I think he had a comment.
7th time?
7th time?
I'm not sure. We'll see if we can...
he wants to talk some more.
We'll see if there's time for a comment from the Noodle before we close. Let's go back to Scott in Holly Springs. Scott, did you have any trouble programming the tones for tonight's net?
Maybe he didn't get the receive tone in. Just kidding.
I don't know.
Uh-oh.
Kilo November 4, Sierra Lima Tango. Scott, go ahead. Your turn.
Maybe he doesn't know on this net you're in. There's no out.
All right, he must be sharing a radio with Colt.
With Colt.
Colt, why don't we try to get you in here before you break your radio again? Kilo Oscar, Kilo 0 Alpha Mike Tango, Kilo 0 Alpha Mike Tango. Go ahead, Colt.
This is Kilo 0 Alpha Mike Tango. Just making sure you can hear me before I start talking.
Yeah, we got you this time.
I didn't hear him.
Got the right PL tone.
I didn't hear anything. Did you hear it?
No, I didn't hear anything. You got the right PL tone, and your PTT is working.
Battery seems charged.
Battery seems like it's solid. So let's see what we get.
It's very fitting that we talk about PL tones and all tones and repeaters at this point. So on my really fancy $7,000 APX Next radio I have, there is a button called repeater mode or direct mode. You hit it, it'll allow you to have turn your tones on and off and the repeater on and off. If you hit the button again, it takes you to direct mode, so it turns that repeater transmit frequency into a simplex frequency. And sure enough, there I was. 3 attempts later, I figured it out. That being said, my quick little story was I think it was 2015. I'm sitting in a National Guard armory somewhere in Tennessee, and our commanding officer decided that we needed to get our ham technician license because we were going to have the big earthquake and Memphis was going to slide into the river. So that's all we planned and trained for a couple of years. So I got my technician license that weekend, and one of the things I learned about tones and those frequency offset pairs is they teach in the class made us get gave us a waterproof notepad and pen, and made us write down all the repeaters that we needed that were on the analog side. And he told us, there's going to come a day when no one's coming to save you, and you're not going to have the internet, and you're going to want this written down somewhere. And he made sure that we had all of our repeaters written down with the tones that we needed and the frequency pairs. And then he also made sure that we knew how to program it into our radio. So that's all I got to say. I'm glad we're here. Back to y'all in control.
Very good stuff. You know, I've got a coworker who he got his technician's license, I believe, in the Navy.
Yeah.
And it expired like a year and a half ago.
Oh, he didn't renew it.
Yeah, he's got until July to get it renewed within the 2-year period.
Might as well, right?
You know, $35.
That's
I
true.
mean, we've all wasted more money on dumber things.
Yep.
So I've been trying to encourage him to just, you know, come on, man. You don't have to take a test. You just have to. But if you
Right.
wait, you're going to have to test.
Yeah.
And what's the chances you're going to ever do that?
Right.
Meanwhile, you know, he's a techno nerd, and he lives in the area. He's over in Bartow County, not far from here. I keep inviting him to come hang out with us on Thursday nights.
Good. And I think Colt's got a good point. I know with Repeater Book, you can pick certain repeaters in your area or whatever, map-wise, and download them to an Excel file that you might want to print one day and put in your backpack or put it somewhere that you always have it.
You know, and that's not a bad thing to do, to have a hard copy someplace where you can access it, where you can keep it dry, that you can, and maybe you want to have a hard copy at a couple of key locations.
Right.
You know, because if we're talking about being prepared, that's one of the elements. Have a hard copy of the pertinent data, so that if you have to, if your radio's brain got scrambled,
right,
and you can get it to recover and you can get it to boot up, but it lost its memory, hey, that's an ace in the hole right there.
And Colt, I figure for $7,000 radio, it should have programmed itself, right? You know?
Yeah.
Or
well,
come with somebody to program it.
That's the next generation, right? The AI.
The AI.
The Terminator radio.
Yeah, you just tell it, hey, I want to talk on this frequency.
Yeah. Well, good stuff. I'm glad you got your radio sorted out. And, you know, that's one of the things, too. We get into these more capable and complicated radios, and they have bells and whistles, and we don't necessarily know what that bell means or what that whistle is calling for. So
well, take it from Rhino. Read the manual.
Read the manual. Read the manual, but maybe
or
also
keep the manual around.
Keep the manual around, but maybe also consider, you know, to start off with the basic stuff and save that complicated stuff for people like Colt, so that when we call on him, he doesn't answer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It might not work.
It might not work. Who knows? And figuring it out is part of the challenge. He was able to figure it out.
Right.
But breaking it,
I think he likes doing that. He
well,
likes causing problems and then figuring them out.
Right. Let me just go ahead and check in with a nearly dead battery. That way, when it's my turn, there's not a chance.
Appreciate you, Colt.
Just picking on you. So good stuff. I think I need to go back to next. I've got Joe. Let me break. Kilo Quebec 4, Mike Juliet Oscar. Joe, are you there?
KQ4 MJO. Correct. I'm here.
All right. Tell Bobby we relayed him in for you, and he owes you $5.
Yep. Or make him buy you lunch at the next.
Got that. I'll have to collect on that one.
All right, Joe. Well, tell us, do you have any trouble figuring out the PL tones? Or you like me, you just hand your radio to somebody and say, here, program it?
Well, my original was a GMRS, and I did manage with not a Rubicon's help to get my tones incorrect. I've done that since with the Kenwoods now. So I haven't had too much trouble. It was a learning curve, though.
Well, it's more than a learning curve. It's an accomplishment as far as I'm concerned. Anybody that's figured out how to program Kenwood in particular, but you know, even just figuring out Chirp, Chirp is one of the simplest programs out there. Probably easy to download. It's easy to follow. It's easy to find tutorials. It's easy to get good explanations from folks like Not a Rubicon and others.
Right.
Chirp is probably one of the more ubiquitous programming softwares that you might find.
And it's free.
And it's the right price. So, you know, it's all the time they're adding new radios.
Right.
So if you have a radio that Chirp would not program, it might program that radio the next time you need to try. So, there's even some Kenwoods in Chirp that.
Right. I would encourage you, if you're able to, you know, to help donate, because it is free. I think there's a few guys doing it on their own.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely consider that, especially if you're using it a lot. You program a lot of radios with it. Maybe some of the folks that you're programming radios for would be interested in, you know, passing on a few bucks. So
and Bobby, maybe Joe can buy you, or maybe Bobby can buy you lunch at the next luncheon next week.
I think he should. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, let's plan for that, Joe. Just figure on Bobby's going to pick up the check next time. Let me know how that plays.
Right.
All right. That brings us to Noodle N0 Delta.
Is he checking in again?
Yeah, this is like number 8,
okay.
I think. He's in again. Dana, what ending comments do you have for tonight's net?
You guys are very, very hard on me, and I don't know what I've ever done. No, I'm going to be shameful and just plug my 2 nets for the next 2 nights. Folks, if you want to do the Friday night at 9 Simplex Challenge, meet us tomorrow night on the Monument Repeater on the GMRS side at 8 o'clock, and we'll have some fun testing some Simplex frequencies. Let me break. And then, again, right here on the North Georgia Amateur Radio Association Network for the Saturday night sessions, starting at 7 p.m., where we'll have some cool and informative conversation and some great takeaways. So hope to see everybody there. All right, I'm done.
All right, there's some great conversations happening on that Saturday night sessions.
Yep.
So
I heard them.
I haven't been able to tune into as many of them as I like, but I'm going to definitely try to tune in this week, and at least listen in. So I highly recommend that. And of course, you know, Friday night at 9. So many of us are here because something happened in our world that made us think we need to have an alternative communications tool. But just being here is only half of it. Knowing what your simplex capabilities are is going to be the difference maker when the stuff hits the fan.
Right.
So when we get into the world where grid's down, power's out, phones don't work, maybe an EMP strike by some foreign military power, maybe sun flares have wiped out the satellite constellation and half of our phones, and
that's how I got into all this.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not a zero chance possibility.
Right.
I mean, the sunspot's probably the single biggest risk that we have.
All right.
As a society. So, listen, the Friday night at 9 is a great exercise, and it can be a lot of fun, but it's way more than that.
Right.
And the importance, I can't emphasize enough, the value and the importance of knowing what your simplex capabilities are, where you live, where you work, where you worship, where you recreate.
Yep.
You know, the places that you spend your time at are places where you need to know who you can reach and what you can do. And so if you've been doing the Friday night at 9 from your backyard, it's probably time for you to go do it from the parking lot at work. Drive to work and sit in the parking lot and make some contacts.
Or go to a friend's house and, hey, I'm coming over for a little while. If I'm in your driveway, I'm in your driveway.
Yeah. So, or you know, depending on who your friend is, maybe in the backyard where you spend your time.
Yep.
That's what's important here. So, let's widen our horizons a little bit and see if we can figure out what our simplex performance capabilities are beyond our own backyard. The good stuff, Dana. Encourage everyone to participate.
It is a good time
in the Friday night at 9. All right, Tony. The rest of that is yours, I think.
Uh-oh. No, Lord. Gotta find it. Hang on. All right, where are we at? There we go.
It's
So I got 2 lines here. No, we're okay. This concludes the bi-weekly NGARA Regional Net.
Wow, it took us a long time to get there. Next week on the North Georgia GMRS Network, we'll talk about programming your radio.
Because we won't be on these frequencies. We'll be on the GMRS side, people.
That's right.
We would like to thank you for allowing us to serve as your net control this evening, and special thanks to the North Georgia Amateur Radio Association for the use of their network. Be sure to like and subscribe on the YouTube channel, and remember, comments in the chat show interaction with the channel and go a long way as toward helping the channel grow. Share the YouTube channel with friends, family, and help us spread the word.
Well, good night, everyone. This is KR4HBU Rogers.
N4TVZ, Tony.
KN4HYN, Justin.
And we are North Georgia Amateur Radio Association.
Thanks, guys.
And we are clear. Good night.
Good night.
Whiskey Echo.